Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. And before we start, I'd like to remind all of you that still haven't subscribed to my content to go ahead and do it if you want to see my videos on your home feed every day, because I post a video every day. Now let's get started with today's main story. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Greyhound Throwback. I, 24 female, am at the end of my rope with my wife, 27 female. This is a hard post to write, forgive me. I have been the primary support for my wife since I was disowned for being gay 4 years ago. She got me a bus ticket. For that, I am infinitely grateful. I feel like I have watched her decay in front of me. Either that, or she's always been like this and I just became more cognizant of it. I thought she had depression. She eventually went to the hospital 2 years ago for life-ending tendencies. We got married last year, thinking things would be better, but it hasn't gotten better. She will stay on her laptop all day and only get up to use the restroom or have lunch with a friend. She shares these trite self-help posts and drums up support and attention online. All of my friends here know her and know her first. On the outside, we look happy together. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy spending time with her outside the house. I fell in love with her for a reason. We mesh well intellectually and have a great time together. The logistics of living with her fill me with dread and resentment. She does not help with house cleanliness or chores at all and either willfully refuses or cannot comprehend putting things into trash cans. She will leave things like takeout trash on surfaces for months. The bedroom looks like a level 3 hoard. There's no visible floor and the tallest parts of the refuse are at least at my hip joint. The rest of the apartment is less bad but still not good. She tells me that she can't get or keep a job because of her emotional state, but tells me that the psychiatrist believes her depression is situational, primarily based on her weight, and refuses to prescribe anything for it. She is obese. I am also, even more than she is according to BMI. Her mobility is compromised and she doesn't seem that concerned about it. This scares the crap out of me. My wife's life plan currently entails at least 13 additional years of not contributing financially. This would be one thing if she were trying to be a doctor, but she's not. She wants to have kids and raise them as a stay-at-home mom parent for 6 years after getting a 4-year degree, and get her master's degree after that. Now, I am not saying a stay-at-home mom doesn't contribute to the health of the family. My wife is not currently contributing and we don't have children. Frankly, the proposition of raising children with this woman, given current factors, gives me angina. I already feel like her caretaker. Why would I want to add a child to this? The current situation is that I have finally broken out of menial jobs, but I need to move. A part of that is cleaning out the apartment to get ready to leave. We agreed to have it done 3 weeks ago. That deadline came and went. I told her that it needed to be done in 10 days at the absolute latest. I reminded her about the deadline every time we brought up the move. She told me to stop nagging her 2 weeks ago, so I did. Jump to today, and she has only taken out 3 bags out of the 40 that it most likely needs, and the only reason she did that was because I was pissed on our anniversary with how I felt like a pack mule for years. It is 9 days away from the deadline, and I can't take this anymore. I can't keep setting up expectations and having them ignored or railroaded. I can't stand watching her care so little about my needs. I know that I should wait until the deadline to be fair to her, but I am so hurt. I can't keep bearing my soul, working all the time and maintaining a house for 2 people while I'm going through my own crap. I have a severe mental health condition that I keep in check with medication, typically, and my wife told me she needed the money for something that, in hindsight, was ridiculous. That was almost 6 months ago. The thing that hurts the most is that she says the right things. She knows what to say. She doesn't do any of them more than once. A friend from college has volunteered to take me in while crap hits the fan. I'm scared of what my wife would do if I tried to leave. She talks a lot about her low self-esteem and how I'm the only thing keeping her going. As I mentioned, she has been hospitalized before for her dark thoughts. I feel so much guilt, Reddit. I know intellectually that I can't be the one who wants to live enough for the both of us. I can't be the only one working towards progress. I will literally combust if I have to continue doing this. Divorce is ugly as a legal process, but I don't think I can keep going on like this. My wife is behaving like an addict. Maybe she is addicted to the internet and to her societal perception. That's for a smarter person than I, with a license, to figure out. What do I do, Reddit? Wait until the first? Just pack a bag and get out? My friend says this is abusive, but I feel wrong using that term, knowing that there are battered women on the streets. My wife doesn't seem to think I'm serious about the deadline. OP, I think your friend is right. You're definitely in an abusive and toxic relationship. You are being emotionally held hostage. She turned you into the bedrock of her existence, meaning that if you leave her, her existence crumbles and she goes back to those dark thoughts, or at least that's what she's saying. That is manipulation. That is already a huge red flag in and of itself. Additionally, her life plan requires you to sustain her for 13 years while she contributes nothing. However, you don't mention that she's done any work in her plan, like she's not working through it. How does she plan on getting through college with a master's degree and raising kids when she can't even keep a job? She also doesn't follow through on chores, and she can't even clean the bedroom or the house or throw away her trash. She just leaves it about. And she's forcing you to live in that filth. OP, she's not acting like a partner. She's acting like your child, and she's holding you responsible for whatever happens to her. And that is not fair to you at all. That is not a healthy partnership. And yes, I agree that divorce is an ugly thing. However, sometimes it is the necessary thing. Maybe if you want to wait till the deadline to move out, sure, but in the meantime, start getting the process rolling and also contact her friends and family to tell her what's going to happen so they're prepared to help her out when you need to get out. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? How would you go about it? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Stephanie says, first, big hugs if you want them. You've been taking advantage of for a long time and she's made you think you deserve it, whether she intended to or not. Your wife isn't going to change unless she wants to. She has no reason to because you haven't followed through. And even if she changes, it doesn't mean it's fixed or that you should stay. The effect of this relationship on you will be long-lasting as you rebuild yourself. My advice would be, get your stuff and your stuff only ready for departure for the deadline. Make sure you have all your vital documents and paperwork dropped off at your friend's house as soon as possible, and then pack up whatever else belongs to you. If she says anything about self-harm, call the police for a welfare check. If she's serious, she will be kept safe. If she's manipulating you, a 72-hour hold will teach her that it's not okay to lie about these things. Joan Galt321 says, she is an adult woman acting like a child. It's not fair to you that she's pulling the mental health card to get out of doing her share of work. If she's home all day, there's no reason she can't help out. I think she is being extremely selfish and not thinking of you or your needs at all. You have needs too. I understand you're worried about her, but you've tried communicating with her and she's not complying. It would be in your best interest to leave this relationship and focus on your own needs getting met. You deserve a partner who listens to you and puts you first. And OP responds, thank you. I've been immersed in this for so long, I feel crazy for wanting to leave because she says all the right things. She told me that divorce wasn't an option for her. It is for me, if the options are divorce or a psychotic break. Merrick and Girl says, ending a marriage is never easy, but this is an untenable situation for you and you're being hugely taken advantage of. And I think you know that she's not going to honor the deadline. Hoarding is a mental and progressive illness, so it's not just a matter of her throwing away the junk. I usually suggest couples counseling, but in this situation, I don't think that's going to help because her issues go too deep and I don't think she is capable of changing right now without major individual counseling to address the hoarding and lack of initiative. It's okay to leave. Maybe she'll get the help she needs after that and maybe she won't, but you can't set yourself on fire to keep her warm. And OP responds, I don't even know if it's hoarding. She doesn't seem attached to the things she hoards. But within 3 months, it gets back to the situation where the bed is surrounded by a sea of junk. Additional information from OP's comments. My biggest source of frustration is that she isn't taking any baby steps to improve her situation. At this point, I literally don't know what else to do. If I want her to do something, I have to tell her step by step. Even then, it may be done correctly 60% of the time. However, it will only be done once. If I want her to complete the same task a week later, I have to tell her step by step again. The emotional labor is taxing. I'm completely exhausted. She told me once in an argument that I didn't understand real mental illness. I have bipolar disorder with psychotic features, though I am militant about keeping my disorder under control. She hasn't even called the psychiatrist for an appointment or sent an email or anything for a refill. I think I have enabled her, which I feel guilty about. Sickness and health, right? Still, I don't think she's held up her end of the bargain. I think she loves me, don't get me wrong. At the same time, if I lowered the bar anymore, it'd be on the ground. I'm asking her to hold to a standard of cleaning that she made for herself. 3 trash bags while I'm at work for 8 hours. She hasn't done that but once. This is especially sore for me because before I was disowned, I was in a similar situation with my brother. My brother refused to clean and generally didn't contribute, but he at least left the house and had a job. It never got this bad cleaning-wise either. Her main thing right now is going back to school, but second verse, same as the first. How the hell is she going to have the discipline for college if she can't pick things up from around the house? Even when she's home all day, I'm documenting what it looks like before and after I clean it so that it doesn't bite me in the ass. I'm going to try to get my name off the lease if at all possible. I have been the caregiver for my family before this, then for her, I'm not doing it anymore. I felt like I somehow deserved this. I don't. I deserve better, and my wife needs to learn to rely on herself and get help. Okay, well, the community agrees. OP is in an abusive relationship and she needs to do something to get out of it. Also, OP agrees that it's highly unlikely that her wife is going to follow through on her plan if she can't follow through on simple things in a day-to-day basis, which apparently has made OP understand that she deserves better and she's going to work towards that. So it's time that we move on to the update to see how this story ends. But before that, if you are liking this video so far and the story, go ahead and click that like button for me because it really does help out. Now, let's move on to that update. Hello everyone! 2 months ago, I wrote here about my relationship with my wife. She is a hoarder and had a litany of other issues that were above my pay grade. I asked Reddit if I should leave on the deadline date, and it was unanimous that I absolutely should. I didn't. I left the night before. The cleaning didn't get done, surprising literally no one. We were driving to our apartment and I told her that I was really crestfallen about the deadline, and she responded, "Why? Is that a bad date for you or something?" I was furious but kept it to myself. I told her how I felt and I reminded her of my deadline. I told her that I was moving out and that I was done. She cried and cried and cried and begged for a week to clean the apartment to show that she was committed to this marriage. I said that she was free to do it, but I wasn't going to sleep there during that, and I moved in with my friend. We agreed to reassess the condition of the apartment on Sunday morning. She told me how spiritually edifying it was to clean. I was really optimistic for a bit. Wednesday comes and my father-in-law calls me frantic. He's like a dad to me. He told me that my wife emailed him. She never talks to him unless she has to, and I asked why. He told me that she begged him to tell me to come back home. He remarked that it was bizarre, but I was incensed. No, father-in-law, it's not bizarre, it's crappy. She's trying to leverage you through our relationship to get me back. Saturday comes and she sends me a message on Facebook saying, "You know, it doesn't look as good as I want it to physically, but I feel like I've made a lot of progress emotionally, and isn't that what matters?" I told her that such progress would have been appreciated 2 years ago, but I had to walk, I couldn't do it anymore. She then spent money online with our card without informing me about yarn, and we had a disagreement about it. I told her that I wanted the bank account closed, but she couldn't bear to see me in person, so I redirected my checks to a new account instead. It had been weeks and I finally went back to get my things, and it got a lot worse. There was a water leak in the carpet. The litter boxes weren't taken care of since I took care of them the day I left, and she managed to move the microwave into her bedroom. The latter was particularly surprising because she refused to move anything heavier than 10 pounds because of a rotator cuff injury for years, and yet got a 40 pounds microwave into her room. I reported the conditions to my mother-in-law, who co-signed the lease with us. She called me back to bemoan, "What am I going to do about my daughter? You don't understand how hard it is to have to think about how to take care of her." Well, that's tone deaf. I snapped at mother-in-law about her nonsense. She asked me what she should do about my ex-wife feeding her histrionic personality. I told her that I had no idea, but she signed papers 27 years ago that made it her responsibility and not mine. I'm happily living with my friend. She and I are currently figuring out what we are, but we've been supportive of each other and making each other's lives easier. And just to be clear, I've not been dating at all for a while, and I was estranged from this friend when I got with my wife. I was disowned for being gay by my family and had to leave college immediately and seek refuge with my ex-wife, and my friend and I fell out of contact. We got into contact again this year when I was interviewing for jobs in the area where she lived, not knowing that she was there. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to be roommates in the long term, for how long, etc. Logistics. We do need to figure out what bygones are bygones. Also, we had both just celebrated our birthdays. Happy quarter century, and that was perfect. I've been told that my ex-wife has had a much more rigid and stoic effect since I left. Mother-in-law told me that she didn't even say she missed me. It'd be nice if she came back. I heard from father-in-law that they're mad that the car I have is in my name. It was given to me as a graduation present and was an old family car. I start my new job tomorrow. I've been getting ready all last week and I'm so nervous but so excited. I'm really glad I left. Well, OP, it definitely sounds like a positive update for you. You got out of that toxic relationship and left that apartment, and you're now figuring out the next steps in your life which you are really excited about, particularly your new job. Hopefully your ex-wife gets the help that she needs, but it's not your problem anymore, so you can just focus on yourself. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you so much for sharing, and take care. Now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. And this post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user DifferentScholar548. Change the salary system after start date? More than happy to comply. Here is a little story about a summer job I did a while ago that you all might enjoy. This happened a few years back. It was during summer break and I was back home from university, looking for something to do to keep me busy and to earn some cash. I stumbled upon an ad for a local music festival needing help managing their concerts, mostly checking in visitors and also working as a driver. I reached out, said I would be interested, and told them my hourly fee, which I earned from my last job. They answered rather quickly and told me to start as soon as possible. Since they didn't argue with me about my proposed hourly rate, I gathered they'd accepted it. Well, a few days after I started working for them, one of the bosses approached me and said they don't exactly do the hourly rate, but rather pay a fixed price for a day you worked for them. At first, I was annoyed, since it would have been much less than I initially thought I would earn, but then I realized I could just use their own system against them. Want me to go around and hand out flyers to people for 30 minutes? Yep, this will be noted as a whole day. Want me to go collect additional chairs and bring them to the venue for 20 minutes? Yep, another day added. You get my system by now. That sweet moment when after the long gig, I handed my registered days calculation to the boss and she looked at it, her eyes turned wide and you could see her thought process on her face calculating. I simply grinned while she realized that her system absolutely backfired and they played themselves. I ended up earning more than they would have paid me with the hourly system I proposed. 1 week later, I had the money in my bank account. Weirdly enough, I never heard back. Would have loved to work with them again. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was DJ Khaled that said, "You played yourself." Just like you noted, OP. They did absolutely play themselves. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.